Happy birthday, America.
What does your family do on the 4th of July?
We get together, cook food together. Sometimes we're in parades.
We go swimming with friends, and we have a picnic and watch fireworks.
Fireworks.
Watch the fireworks show.
Shoot off fireworks.
We just have lots of fun.
Why do we set off fireworks on the 4th of July?
It was when our Declaration of Independence was signed.
Because John Adams said that's how we celebrate it.
Because it's cool.
Do you have a favorite firework?
Big ones.
The Roman candles.
The blaze. I like the sparklers, little box, and it shoots like 20 fireworks up at the same time. They all just blow up.
I'm kind of afraid of fireworks.
Why did our founding fathers wear wigs?
Because that was the classy thing to do. To look fancy.
Because back then they'd lose their hair very quickly, and it was slightly embarrassing.
Who is your favorite founding father?
George Washington. He always seemed like a strong man. He didn't seem like he would ever break.
Benjamin Franklin.
I kind of want to be like him because he's so smart.
What's the Stars and Stripes?
Our American flag.
The stripes are the 13 colonies.
The stars represent all the states.
What do soldiers do?
They defend us.
They fight for us.
They protect our freedoms and our beliefs.
And if they weren't there, we wouldn't have freedom.
What do you think God likes most about our country?
How we have freedom and we treat everyone equally.
That we're always thinking.
And we're trying to tell other countries about him and spreading the word. Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America.
God bless the USA.
God bless America.
Hey kids, it's Charlotte. We're getting ready to worship. So make some room, stand up on your feet and worship with us.
There is a mighty one. Whatever darkness brings, there is a King of Kings. Whatever battle we wage, whatever evil we face, we just get louder, louder with our praise. When sin goes face to face with your grace, grace wins hands down. Hands down. When sin goes face to face with your grace, grace wins hands down. Hands down.
Come on, break it down, yeah. Sin didn't. No, and sin doesn't have a chance in competition with your forgiveness. No, no sin did it. Yo, and no it doesn't. Come on, hey, stand a chance against your grace. Go, ding ding, the bell rings. Life swings, no matter what this life brings, man. I'll sing, 'cause you are the reigning one, the champion. The sins of this life that come, you overcome. We stick to our creed when things get rocky. When you on our side, no nothing can stop me. You won every round. It's about to get out. Grace wins,
Sin goes face to face with your grace, grace wins hands down. Hands down. When sin goes face to face with your grace, grace wins hands down. Hands down. When sin goes face to face with your grace, grace wins hands down. Hands down. When
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Hebrews, chapters 11 and 12.
Gotta have a little faith, 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 faith. Keep the faith. Take a leap of faith. You know, a lot of people toss around the word faith lately. We say you can break the faith, or just take it all on blind faith. But true faith isn't blind at all. It's much more than just an inspirational word. True faith has to do with believing in all the things you can't see, because you start with what you can see. Now, we can't see God with our physical eyes, but we can see the stories of people who came before us. They lived in a broken world like we do, but they chose to follow God. They chose to trust His promise that one day He would send a rescuer that would make everything right again. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament tells us about some of these men and women in God's story. People like Noah, people like Abraham. When God called Abraham, he was already getting old. He and his wife Sarah didn't have kids.
Leave your country and your people. Leave your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you.
God was planning on sending His rescuer as one of Abraham's great, etc. grandchildren. But still, even though Abraham had God's promise, he still couldn't see the one God was sending. Still, Abraham went on a wild adventure, following God's call. And even his descendants, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, all chose faith in God. Moses, too, was called by God from the fiery heart of a burning bush. Even though he was raised by Pharaoh's daughter, he chose to stand with his own people and face Pharaoh's anger to win freedom. We read about it like this in the book of Hebrews.
Moses suffered shame because of Christ. He thought it of great value.
See, when you check out Hebrews, you discover this huge list of people who followed God by faith, so many that the writer just stops trying to list all of them. Oh, but we can't forget Israel's most important king, David.
Get up and anoint him. This is the one.
Even though God had promised David would be king, though, David spent years on the run from King Saul, fearing for his life. Still, he chose to trust God.
The Lord is my shepherd. He gives me everything I need.
Now, none of these people in the Old Testament could see with their eyes how God was going to save His people, but they could see how He was working in their lives, how their needs were being met. So they chose to believe in His greater plan. They chose faith.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. That is what the people of long ago were praised for.
Now, here's where the story turns. In Hebrews, we discover that none of those people in the Old Testament received what God had promised here on earth.
That's because God had planned something better for us, so they would only be made perfect together with us.
God's plan includes all of us from the very beginning of creation. So at just the right moment, at the perfect point in time, God sent His rescuer, the hero, His very own Son, Jesus. Jesus showed us how to live. He showed us what God was like, and He told us the most important thing.
If you love one another, everyone will know you are my disciples.
Love God, love others. It's the heart of the whole story. But then, Jesus was killed, and His friends thought the story was finished. Period. Dot. The end. Until God raised Him back to life. Jesus has defeated death, and those who follow Him can live with Him forever. But how do you follow someone you can't see? Well, that brings us back to faith.
Let us keep looking to Jesus. He is the one who started this journey of faith, and He is the one who completes this journey of faith. He paid no attention to the shame of the cross. He suffered there because of the joy he was looking forward to. So think about him. Then you won't lose hope.
The early believers, Peter and John and other followers of Jesus, had seen him teach and heal. They saw him after God raised him to life. But after Jesus returned to heaven, the believers continued to live by faith.
We have to speak about the things we've seen and heard.
Because of what the new Christians in the early church had seen, they could believe in what they could not yet see, the end of the story, where God makes everything right. They kept the faith, and because they did, we can choose faith too.
I love reading chapter 11 in the book of Hebrews. It is where we can look back in history and find many people who had faith in God. People like Noah, Abraham, Joseph, Moses, and King David, not to mention many others. Even though they couldn't always see how things would turn out, they all believed in God and His promises. They lived by faith, and you can live by faith too. In fact, having faith in Jesus and what He did on the cross is what makes everything possible for you to have a relationship with God. Relationship status update. Even though we can't see Jesus in person, we can still have faith in Him because we can see how He's worked in the lives of people who have come way before us. That's the one thing to remember today. You can know Jesus even though you have never seen Him. If you want to know Jesus, but you don't know where to start, try talking to somebody who has put their faith in Jesus. Or you can read the stories in the Bible of people who trusted God long ago. There's a lot of things we can see that can help us have faith. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. From all of us here at Genesis Kids, we hope you have an awesome day.